I'm Judge Andrew Napolitano, and the verdict is coming on the federal government committing extortion and not being held accountable for its actions. Here's the question. Can the federal government force successful banks to take TARP funds even if they don't need it, even if they don't want it? And if the government is allowed to do this, what has been historically called fascism and Soviet-style socialism, then what is next? Here are the facts. Recently, I spoke with the chair and CEO of one of the country's top bank holding companies. His bank is worth in excess of $250 billion, has no bad debt, no credit default swaps, no liquidity problems, and no subprime loans. He told me that he and others were forced, his word, forced by the Treasury and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's threats to take TARP funds, even though he did not want them and didn't need them. The FDIC, with Treasury backing, threatened to conduct public audits of his bank unless his board created and issued a class of stock just for the federal government to purchase. The audit, which he is confident his bank would survive, would cost it millions in employee time, bad press, and consequent lost business. He told me he pleaded with the feds to leave his successful bank alone. He told me he begged his board to let him tell the feds to go take a hike. But the board gave in. The feds are now just a tiny, tiny shareholder, but they want to begin asserting more and more control. Here's what I think. This is a classic extortion, which the law defines as controlling someone else's free will by threatening to perform a lawful act. Can the FDIC audit any bank it wants? Yes, as long as the purpose for doing so is to find out if the bank is complying with FDIC regulations and the laws that govern that bank. But can the FDIC threaten to audit a bank unless the bank sells its stock to the federal government? Absolutely not. That's garden variety extortion. It's against federal law, and it's against the law of every one of the 50 states. Now, why would the feds want to do this? Why would they want to own even just a tiny bit of the most successful banks in the country? So that they can control them. What is becoming of our liberties? We are losing them right before our eyes. If you want to hear more of my opinions on topics such as this, check out my latest book, Dred Scott's Revenge, A Legal History of Race and Freedom in America, available later this month in bookstores nationwide. You can also tune into my nationally syndicated radio show, Brian and the Judge, every weekday from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, and to my online program, Freedom Watch, every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern on FoxNews.com. And don't forget, you can always catch me right here on the Fox News Channel and the Fox Business Network throughout the day, every day. I'm Judge Andrew Napolitano, and that's my verdict.